What if I told you that there's 7 lies that have been perpetuated throughout the years about nutrition that are actually holding you back? If you stay with me, what's actually gonna happen is I'm going to demystify these things for you like never before, and you're gonna be shocked. I'm here to debunk all of those ideas. And so, idea number 1 comes from an email I got, and it says, JT, are carbs bad for me? Well, carbohydrates are an essential source of energy. It's an important macronutrient, right? And the truth is, if you are 25, 30, 50 pounds overweight, then you most likely want to make sure that you're measuring those carbohydrates. And to be quite honest with you, if you feel like you're really dependent and addicted to the carbs, then you might have to put them aside for a little bit. Keyword, emphasis on a little bit, meaning that carbs are not bad for us. Most diets tend to demonize carbohydrates. The vast majority of people think that carbs are evil and they make you fat, and nothing can be further from the truth. It really all depends on your goal. If you're at your goal weight, you're an active person, and you don't feel like you're necessarily addicted to food, meaning that every time that you have friction or adversity in your life, you reach for food, then carbohydrates might be a good idea for you in the right amounts and the right portions. So carbs are not bad, right? It really depends on where you are and what you're trying to do with your lifestyle. Number 2, is it true that all fats are unhealthy? No. Fats are actually a great source of energy, right? And so when we think of things like olive oil, avocados, yolks, even coconut oil, which is saturated fat, but it's still a good form of fat, right? These fats are great and they give you a ton of energy. The fats that we actually want to stay away from is saturated fat. Most saturated fats are not good for us. Number 3, should I skip meals in order to lose weight? Is probably one of the things that gets most people in trouble. And the reason for that is because when you skip meals, right, your very next meal, you're ready to take out a small village. You're super hungry, and so your portions are gonna be huge, and most likely you're gonna choose things that your brain is asking. Your brain is asking for fat. And so you're going to want to pack on the calories in one sitting, and that's what's really dangerous about skipping meals. And what I find most people get those big meals at dinner time. So come 7, 8, 9, they're stressed, they're tired, they've been disciplining themselves all day, and then next thing you know, they get home, they sit there, and they pack 3,000 calories in one sitting after not eating all day. And guess what? Your body absorbs those nutrients, it soaks it in, and then you go to bed for the next 6 or 8 hours, and those glycogen storages are just ramped up, and you're just laying there and sleeping. So you're not consuming any of that energy, and that can become very dangerous over time. Those calories can compound, that glycogen gets stored in your muscle and your liver, and this is how people gain a lot of weight. Number 4, can eating late cause me to gain weight? It's not really the time. It's really calories in, calories out. It is a little more complex than calories in, calories out, but let me explain. For the most part, if you're eating at night, right? If you're eating late at night, one of the things that often happens, I tell people this all the time, between the hours of 7 and 9 p.m., these are the most dangerous times because, once again, your disciplined muscle is tired from being an adult all day. You've had responsibilities, you've been at work, you've been stressed, you're tired. And sitting down and eating, usually most people don't pick a healthy meal. They pick something that they're craving. In other words, they're eating more for emotions than they are for physical hunger, and that can get people in a lot of trouble. And once again, we have a tendency to eat more at night for that same reason, right? Your disciplined muscle has decreased, and there's more of a chance of you eating things that you shouldn't be eating. Number 5, JT, is organic food healthier? This is one I get all the time, and my friend, I'm here to say that it doesn't matter if you're eating organic, it's calories in, calories out, and if you're not watching your calories, you're going to gain weight. It doesn't matter if it's organic, it doesn't matter if it's grass-fed. And so we have to be super careful, because a lot of times labels can be very deceiving. We're like, oh, this is all organic food, so this is not gonna make me gain weight, and nothing can be further from the truth. Even though there's no pesticides or less pesticides in those foods, you're still gonna pack on the calories. And so you have to be super careful. And just because it says diet or low fat or organic or grass-fed, it doesn't mean that those calories don't impact you. So at the end of the day, you really have to be careful with those calories. Number 6, is sugar from fruit as bad as sugar from candy? Let me tell you a story. So I had a lady that would come into our gym, and she was working out with us, and she was somewhat overweight. She was training. She wasn't getting any results from just the training, even though she was coming 5 days a week. She was training 5 days a week, and she had a monitor on. And every time she would train, she would burn anywhere between 800 to 900 calories. So a whole lot of calories. And she couldn't lose any weight. And she was just beyond herself. She couldn't believe that. She's like, I'm working so hard. I'm here 5 days a week. I do cardio on my own. I'm super active. Why am I not losing weight? And then finally we sat with her and we started talking to her about nutrition. And I found out she was eating fruit for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. She had big bowls of fruit consistently throughout the day. Now, even though sugar from fruit is not bad, fructose as white sugar or any kind of even honey, which spikes a ton of insulin, fructose is very, very different in the way it reacts to our bodies. But if you're eating a significant amount of fructose throughout the day, what fruit does do to you is it reminds your brain of all the other sugary things that you may or may not love. And we found that she was eating fruit, but then she also had some secret cravings. She was eating a ton of ice cream, and she constantly wanted to snack on candy. And she just had this incredible desire to eat sugar all the time. Here's what happened. We actually took the fruit out for a little while. I told her to stop eating fruit. We replaced her macronutrients, we balanced her macronutrients out, and within 12 days, she kicked the sugar craving. She stopped craving all the other things, including fruit. And after 6 to 8 weeks, we reincorporated fruit. We dark pigmented fruit, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. And not only did she lose weight, but she kicked the sugar craving. So I'm here to say, no, fruit is not bad. The sugar in fruit is not as bad as the other sugars. But if you're constantly eating sugar, you're constantly reminding your brain of that desire for sweets, and you might end up getting a ton of other mishaps. Number 7, and this is the last one, and this is one that really gets under my skin as a coach because I see it everywhere. I see it advertised everywhere, and it's, JT, I just started a detox diet. Is this an effective way to cleanse my body? And the answer to that is your body has a built-in detoxification system, right, for your liver and your kidneys. And most detox diets lack scientific evidence. I mean, it's just very gimmicky. And the idea that you're gonna take out certain foods and detox your body and then all of a sudden go back to your old diet and everything is gonna be fine is crazy, right? That's not gonna happen. What we're looking for is a lifestyle. So when you hear the word detox, run far, far away from it, because if it doesn't come along with a sustainability plan, then okay, maybe you'll lose some weight, maybe you'll feel good for a little while, but as soon as you start reincorporating your old foods, guess what? I guess you're going to toxify your body again, right? So detox diets are very, very gimmicky. It's something that people cling to because most of us are looking for shortcuts, and it sounds like just a quick fix, and that's exactly what it is. So your body already has ways of detoxing your liver and all the organs in your body. Where the body's a machine, and so it detoxes itself. One of the fastest ways to detox is to actually start eating very clean. And so you might wonder, what does clean mean? Because this is a popular term. Oh, I'm eating super clean. And most of the time when I sit with people and they tell me they're eating clean, they're not eating so clean. So here's the idea. The idea is that you want to make sure that you find a systematic approach to your nutrition. We're gonna go ahead and operate out of the idea that we are all dependent on sugar because the brain lights up with sugar. I'm not talking about cupcakes, ice cream. I'm not talking about direct sugar. I'm talking about indirect sugar that comes through starches like rice, potatoes, breads, pastas, things of that nature. Those things convert to sugar and light your brain up and make you heavily addicted to sugar. So that systematic approach has to eliminate those foods for a period. In other words, put them into abstinence so that you can reset your palate and your brain's reward pathways. In other words, the way your brain perceives reward. Why do we need to do that initially? Because what actually happens when you do that is you take control again of your decisions, your self-control, and your discipline. And now you can transition into that progression of bringing those foods in and bringing in what we call slow digesting carbs. Slow digesting carbs are quinoa, couscous, brown rice, legumes in the form of beans, lentils, garbanzos, portioned out almonds, nuts, seeds, right? When we do that, what happens is the insulin spike is not as high as with the white breads and the white rice and all those other crazy carbohydrates to spike your insulin. You have these big peaks and these big troughs. And so once we do that, we start reincorporating that, and then we go into a systematic approach of intuitive eating. If you don't train your palate, right, your taste buds, you don't train your brain, you don't progressively bring the slow digesting carbs in, then you can never intuitively eat. This is another famous thing out there right now about intuitive eating. The problem is most people are getting up from the couch, right, covered in Dorito dust, thinking that they can go and do intuitive eating, and nothing can be further from the truth because you haven't learned how to control your palate and your brain's reward pathways. And so you need a systematic approach like the one we have in the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. This is what our program's about. Reset, Reboot, and Excel. That systematic approach that trains your brain, your taste buds, so that then you can go into that progression, bring back all of the macronutrients, and then go into intuitive eating, because at that point you have discipline and self-control to actually teach you how to do that. Guys, we unpacked a lot here. I hope that I was able to debunk some of these myths, some of these lies. And the truth is, nutrition is very, very simple. Most people complicate it because that's how they make money. But nutrition doesn't have to be very complicated, especially when you have a coach, someone guiding you, someone who's encouraging you, and someone that you've paid, because having skin in the game is important. You know the saying, when you pay attention. Hire a coach. You're gonna get there a lot faster, and you're gonna avoid all the pitfalls. And so I hope you've enjoyed this video. Watch it again, take some notes, put it to action. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.